Wonders and Wanderers, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Errol, and I'm an author, philosopher, and trying out this YouTube thing. I typically like to go out in nature as it helps me think clearly and get away from it all, which I highly suggest you do. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about Stoicism and why I just don't quite think it's the answer that a lot of people may think it is. A lot of people attribute Stoicism as some sort of panacea, some heal-all, some anesthesia for the modern world, some kind of balm to put on the soul to soothe it. At the very beginning, when somebody goes down the road of Stoicism, it's quite alluring and has some prominent and popular figures behind it, one of the most prominent being Marcus Aurelius, and his work Meditations is often quoted quite a bit in the sphere of people who enjoy Stoicism and push it. Marcus Aurelius was a brilliant man, for sure. A valiant man, honorable man, admirable man, but he lived in a different time. And the fact of the matter is that the world changes and goes through cycles and ages, whether it's the land changing or the inner landscape of the human mind and the collective consciousness. And these things need to be taken into account when we're talking about something that can widely help all kinds of people from all different types of backgrounds, because the fact of the matter is there is no one thing that could help every single person on this world. And the people who push Stoicism and attribute it to their life successes oftentimes think that what worked for them will work for others. And that's just not the case. We know that that's not how the world works. You know, today we're going to look at a few important things, mostly influenced by Friedrich Nietzsche, the great psychologist, and the great mind who critiqued quite a bit of the world's philosophies. And I think it's always a good thing to critique anything. Never take something for face value. Always do your own research and take a look into other minds and then reflect on it. See how your mind matches up with that great mind, whether it's Marcus Aurelius or even Nietzsche. And I'm not saying I'm right about Stoicism. I'm not saying that Nietzsche is right about Stoicism, but he brings up important points that we should know when it comes to Stoicism. So before you get excited and buy all the Stoic books and read Meditations, I invite you to look a bit deeper into what Stoicism is actually saying, what its tenets are actually trying to encourage you to do, and why that can be detrimental. So first and foremost, Stoicism, in a way, teaches you or encourages you to reject your passions, to subdue your passions, to push them aside in order to live a life that is honorable in some way, or to seek a means where you're not controlled by desires and passions. But Nietzsche saw this as life-denying, as he put it. It was a sort of apathy that doesn't cater to the human soul entirely. It suppresses parts of our being that urge us to move forward. Desire and passion is something that causes creation and progress, whether it's in the human soul, in the human heart, or out in the world. And Stoicism is often saying to suppress and deny these things. Well, the real problem with that is that people can receive that in different ways, and how one person receives things as opposed to another person, you're going to have a margin of error and a misinterpretation of one's words, especially one's words like Marcus Aurelius, who spoke of this hundreds and hundreds of years ago, again at a different time. one of the most interesting things I see on the internet is a push or a movement to get humans to live in accordance with nature, which I believe to a degree. And Stoics always harped on living in accordance with nature. But there's one thing wrong with that idea, is that humans and nature are fundamentally different. Trying to assert that there's some sort of order in nature that's perceivable by humans at least is a fallacy in itself, and attributing that pseudo order to your life could be detrimental, because the natural world is indifferent to humanity. It's indifferent to our influence on it. It will be what it will be regardless of what humanity does or thinks. Yes, we have the means to destroy it and alter it, but ultimately, as we see with grass growing through the cracks on sidewalks and weeds sprouting up in city areas, we know that nature eventually, it may take years, it may take hundreds of years, but nature eventually wins. And these things are irrefutable. And what Stoics are encouraging you to do is to live in accordance with something that is discordant. It's not possible. Nature is indifferent, like I said, to our humanity and our human existence. It will be what it will be regardless before and after we get here. So to attribute that, as Stoics do, to ask to live in accordance with nature, is fundamentally flawed and is not possible. Another point that Nietzsche brought up was this logos that the Stoics mention, or reason, using reason as a means to create your world, to make decisions. Again, the fallacy lies that reason isn't what drives nature to do what it needs to do, and ultimately reason isn't what drives us to do what we want to do. What drives us is will to power, something that Nietzsche created in his work. And the will to power is the will to progress and move forward. But the fact of the matter is that all is encompassed by will to power, what our human drive to move forward. And Stoicism kind of misses the mark by saying that there is a logos or some reason behind the discordance in nature. And it ties back into the last point, that nature is indifferent to humans. Nature is indifferent to human reason. So to apply human reason as a means of living in accordance with nature is a fallacy in and of itself. This next point ties back into one of the previous points, is that Stoicism in large is life denying. It wants to separate certain aspects of the human will or the human experience and completely cut them out, whether it's desire or passion in any way. And it becomes life denying because there's a full spectrum of human existence that we are put here to experience. Why would we cut one of these things out? And there's something to be said about Orthodox religions as well, who speak of the 7 deadly sins. And one of the funny things that I learned about when reading the Satanic Bible, and I'm not a Satanist, I read these things for different viewpoints, and Anton LaVey said, the 7 deadly sins, what do you mean? The 7 things that everybody wants to do every single day or does unconsciously? And he has a good point. And Stoicism pushes this: no passions, no desires, live in accordance with nature. Passion is built into the human mind. Desire is built into our daily lives. At some point throughout the day, every single day, we desire things. And to squash those feelings leaves us feeling empty. And we can say, well, it's Stoicism, I just got to keep moving forward. But that emptiness sooner or later will catch up with you, and you'll find yourself questioning what exactly it is you're doing in this world. I want to wrap this up by saying that I respect Stoicism. I respect the great minds like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Cicero, etc. These figures created a bedrock for us to build upon. You know, we are all standing on the shoulders of giants, so to speak. As we move forward through the halls of time, we find ourselves taking certain aspects of minds in the past and leaving certain aspects and creating and building new philosophies as we move forward. And that's important. It's important not to take these things and say, well, because everybody else finds value in Stoicism, there's got to be inherent and immutable value there. So when you or when I start diving into Stoicism, we base our viewpoints on a previous knowledge that everybody else already accepts it. So it's already biased. And the brilliance of Nietzsche, and now the brilliance of you, hopefully, by understanding some of these points, is that you are allowed to question things and to not accept things for face value, and to put your own spin, your unique spin, because you are unique, on ideas that are widely accepted. And you don't have to move with the masses and accept these ideas as law in any way, shape, or form. It's your choice to interpret and to apply things to your life. So that is my discourse on Stoicism, thanks to Friedrich Nietzsche, and a little bit of myself peppered in there. But if you guys agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. This is important. Stoicism has long driven people to subdue parts of themselves that are important and that what makes them human. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, kick that algorithm into gear for me, get this out to more people, and comment down below, as I said. And please, most of all, if you could subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.